Hey everyone, good morning. It's day 2 here in Moscow with Katya. And today we are going to the Kremlin Museum. But first I have to go take some pictures of the Language Institute here in Moscow because they have a location here, the Litten and Dance School. And we're also going to meet a friend, Daisy. She'll probably be on the video. So let's go. So today we're going to start with some breakfast, and we are eating on Tverskaya Street, and the building you just saw outside is the office of the mayor of Moscow. It's a really pretty building. I really like Russian breakfast, so today I'm going to have some pancakes wrapped around tvorog cheese, which is like farmer's cheese or cottage cheese, and on the side it has some sweet cream, so it's really more filling than you'd expect. So like I said, today we are actually going to go into the Kremlin, but first I need to take care of some work. We are going on a short walk on Tverskaya Street after breakfast. I'm always very impressed by how clean the streets and parks are in Russia. I'm definitely gonna miss this when I travel to other countries. The architecture here in the center of Moscow is definitely very impressive. You kind of feel like an ant next to these huge buildings and columns and these structures. Now, we need to get some water for a long day ahead of walking, so we're going into Spar. And look at all these fresh fruits. I filmed this in August, so we have great weather and fresh fruits. Something that is different between Moscow and St. Petersburg is that here in Moscow, a lot of the time if you want to cross the street, you have to go under the street through these tunnels. So we bought some water and brought it back to the hotel here. And now I think we're gonna start heading over to the school and meet Daisy. Yeah. So actually right now we're gonna take the metro towards the school. After taking the metro, we are here in the northern part of Moscow at Belaruski Vokzal. You can take trains to 7 countries from this train station that was built in the 1800s. We see a lot more Soviet block buildings in this neighborhood, and actually, even if the buildings aren't that nice from the outside, some of the apartments are very nice. You are still very close to the center of Moscow, so housing can be expensive compared to other parts of Russia. So for work today, I have to take some pictures of the language school. If you want to learn Russian in Moscow, St. Petersburg, Irkutsk, Riga, or online, you can use my code RicardoJ to save 5%. I'll put more info below in the description, and you can check out the link. This is the Language Institute where I study Russian. Alright, so we finished the pictures here at the school, and we are gonna meet Daisy after her class, which ends at like 1:45 or 2. So now we're gonna walk around here. We're sort of in the north of the city, different area than we live in. We'll probably find a park to sit at, or a cafe. So now we're in a neighborhood called the Patriarch Ponds, and apparently it's a very expensive area to live in here in Moscow, and Bulgakov, the Russian author, used to live here. If you've read The Master and Margarita, this is the pond where the tram accident happens at the start of the story. Library, so you can bring a book, take a book. Nice. By the way, here's
Hello!
Daisy. Daisy, where are you from?
I'm from Scotland, but I have an American accent.
We met up with some students from the school. We're heading over to the depot, which is what?
Food.
Food. So we're gonna eat. What are you looking for?
So realistic.
Oh my god. And then, as usual, the G. I'm not joking. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're ever in Moscow and you don't know where to eat, you can come here to the Moscow Depot. There are over 70 different restaurants and stalls with different kinds of food, so you have a lot of options.
Hello.
Can you explain how this works over here?
How this works?
This.
Ah, the depot.
Yes.
Well, it's all very simple. You come with your friends, you all choose a delightful table to sit at, and then you choose from one of the thousands of food places. And you can go wherever you want. There's fish, there's Indian food, there's Chinese, there's Russian stuff, obviously. Anything your heart desires, you can get it here at the depot.
Perfect. After we finished lunch, we convinced a few of the students to come visit the Kremlin with us, so now we are going to take the metro to the Red Square. This area next to the depot is called the White Square Business Center, and it's nice to see the contrast of the Russian church and these modern office buildings. Some of the companies that have offices here are McKinsey, PwC, and Deloitte, so if you want to work in consulting in Russia, this is one of the places you could work at. Riding the metro in St. Petersburg and Moscow is a treat because you come out of the metro and you never know what you're gonna see, but this is a beautiful station. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more travel vlogs like this one. So we finished lunch and now we are going into the Kremlin Museum. We are going to buy the tickets for the museum and across this bridge right here.
Why are you speaking like that?
So the tickets into the Kremlin are around 500 to 1,000 rubles. It depends on what buildings you want to see. And I have a student card, so I'm going to get a discount too. The full history of the Kremlin is too long to cover in this vlog alone, but I'm going to try my best to give you some key points. Remember, I'm not a tour guide, I'm just a tourist, so if you want to pay for a guided tour when you visit, you'll probably learn a lot more. The Borovitsky Hill, where the Kremlin is located, was a strategic point for a fortress, with the Moskva River to the south and the now underground Neglinaya River to the west. The East Slavs had a settlement here as early as the 11th century, but even before that, Finnic peoples had been living here since the 2nd century BC. Up until the 1300s, there were a series of wooden structures and walls. Dmitry Donskoy had the wooden walls replaced with white limestone. Then, at the end of the 1400s, the Kremlin was redesigned by Grand Prince Ivan III. He brought architects from Renaissance Italy, and they built the new walls and towers from brick. These are the walls we see today, except they were painted white for many centuries. This was traditional, but also useful, because it protected the bricks. The Kremlin was the official residence of the Tsars, until Peter the Great moved to his new capital in St. Petersburg. This cathedral had a direct connection to the Tsar's living quarters. They would come here for confession. It also holds the remains of over 50 saints from the Middle East. The Russian royal family would come here for weddings and baptisms even after the capital moved. Until the capital of the Russian Empire moved from Moscow to St. Petersburg, this cathedral was where the Russian Tsars were buried. There are 54 tombs in total. They used to be made of white stone, and then these caskets were built around them in the 1900s out of bronze. From 1547 to 1896, the Cathedral of the Dormition, also known as Assumption Cathedral, was a place where Russian monarchs were crowned. So we've been in all of the churches here and it looks like it's gonna start raining in about 10 minutes. So I think we're gonna keep walking around the Kremlin and find somewhere to go inside. So this building right here is the Grand Kremlin Palace, and somewhere in here are the offices of the president. It was getting pretty late, so we tried to rush into the Kremlin armory. Unfortunately, it was closed already since it's past 6 p.m. So I'll have to come and do a video about that another time. But on the plus side, you'll get to experience that in person, which is probably one of the best parts of coming to the Kremlin. Overall, I think today was a pretty successful day. I got my work done in the morning, and then we got to explore the Moscow Depo and the Kremlin. For tomorrow, the plan is to explore Tsaritsino, then the Pushkin Fine Arts Museum, and the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. So make sure you're subscribed and don't miss out on that video. It's gonna come soon. I'm still doing my master's degree online, so editing these videos is taking me a while, but since I know there's a lot of interest in videos like these, I'm gonna try to edit faster. In future videos, I'm also gonna pick a comment from the last video and answer it, and today's question was, is Russia safe for American travelers? I would say yes. I feel safer in Moscow or St. Petersburg than in many of the places I've lived in, including some cities in the US. So yeah, Russia is pretty safe. Of course, when you travel, you have to be respectful of other cultures, don't be too flashy or loud, and don't do anything illegal. This way, you'll be safer. I'm going to take you with me to many countries on this channel and places that are stereotypically dangerous, but in reality, they're just like anywhere else. Thank you for watching, and leave any questions in the comments for next time. Bye.